Imagine, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, that you will be delivering an august presentation, maybe an SP8, getting familiar with visual aids. And you're dreaming of the most august location to deliver your speech, with an august stage, an august amphitheatric arrangement where everybody can see without any obstruction, and august huge screens behind you. And then you wake up in cold sweats because you are giving the presentation at Semelli. Don't get me wrong, it's not the hotel. It's our setting that creates challenges with the use of space, the use of the screen, the slide design, and the use of the available technology. One of my mentors taught me to inspect what I expect, meaning zero assumptions, taking ownership of the result. Because giving a presentation, it's not just about throwing together a few slides and praying for the best. It's about taking ownership of the result. So I run my own experiments and my own tests on site with some test slides and with help of some people. And this is the summary of the results that may be helpful to you as well. Now, first, the question, where to stand to deliver the presentation? Why do we ask this question? With our setting, there's very little space for a speaker to stand, let alone to give a presentation, to be seen by everyone, and not to obstruct the screen. Careful observation shows that the screen is not centered with respect to the tables. We can use that to our advantage. And the fix to that, one of the fixes to that, is to move the tables as far back as we can to create some more space for the speaker. And we should avoid to step into the field of view of the participants, which is shown in the gray triangles. And we can see that there are two spots, left and right of the screen, where the speaker can stand. Clearly, with this arrangement, the right side is lost. And we can see the same principle in this picture. The left side of the screen is the best place to stand at Semelli to deliver a presentation. How can we improve on that even further? Just by tilting the tables, as we have done tonight for the first time, towards the left, creating a bigger space for the speaker to stand. And we can move freely in front of the screen, depending on the slide design, which I will explain later, and depending whether Toastmaster the scene has been here recently, which is another matter to be continued in Rome next week. Now, what's the best way to make use of the screen area? Now, as a good investigator, I had the assistance of my faithful minions, or a minion and a half to be exact. Do you recognize them? Special thanks to Holy Hassan and Alligator Lillian for their assistance in this experiment. And the experiment was to have them walk in front of the screen with a calibrated image at the back and take pictures from various positions around the room. And these are the results, indicating in each scenario which parts of the screen are obstructed. And the conclusion is that we can actually use the top 60% of the screen for the important parts of the presentation and leave the bottom part either blank or with logos and other unimportant things, and walk in front of the screen without obstructing really anything. So it depends on our screen design. And this works with an aspect ratio of 4:3. Now, aspect ratio, what's that? It's basically the proportions of a shape. And 4:3 is the aspect ratio of the old TVs and this screen, as a matter of fact. 16:9 is the new widescreen TVs. Now, as a rule of thumb, the presentation, the projector, and the screen should have matching aspect ratios. Why is that? Because if they don't match, we might be using only part of the screen in the middle, or just a square in the center. Sometimes, if there's a mismatch, the image might be extended and deformed, or it might be squeezed, especially if we use the video converter available at the hotel and not go with direct VGA connection. So if we use the same aspect ratio, 4:3, for the presentation, the projector and the screen, we have 100% utilization of the screen area, and we can play with it. Now, very quickly, colors and contrast. We should go for high contrast, not the washout colors. There should be something written here, but it's not sure at all. And we can use different color combinations, and we can further enhance them with some outline and some shadows. But notice that a bright background is a bit destructive, because you probably cannot see the presenter when he has or she has a bright background. And it's not good for the camera as well. So my proposal is to use a dark background and bright letters, and again we can play with different color combinations. Avoid using certain combinations like blues, reds, greens, and oranges. Personally, I'm colorblind. I cannot even see them. I get dizzy. If you really must use them, use some outlining and some shadows to enhance the contrast. Now, fonts and sizes. Again, after testing a lot of things, my proposal is try to avoid things with intricate details like the New Roman fonts. I would go for more robust Arial fonts and use big point size. I usually use on the presentations 0.8, 80, and don't have more than 3-4 things on the screen. Certainly don't use this, because it looks like an optician's test and you're wondering what's on the screen or where is the screen. And finally, although I'm going over time, projector setup. Do we really have to go into that? Well, at least you have to get somebody to test it, because a computer monitor is one thing and the projector is another thing, and you need to know if the image comes out correctly. And there are various ways to do that by projecting different test images and adjusting the focus and the squareness of the screen. Also adjusting the colors. But my all-time favorite is our very own test signal. And finally, rehearse it on site, and then rehearse it some more. And again, at the expense of going over time, I will share with you that tonight everything went wrong because my computer broke down, and it took me the best part of 2 hours to get another computer and get everything online for the meeting to be able to run. And now you know how to get rid of the nightmares of presenting at Semeli.